UK Goosebumps here. If you're wondering why I haven't uploaded in a few days, because I was on holiday on the weekend, Friday to Sunday, so I was away, so I couldn't upload. But yeah, let's get straight into the video. Today is going to be a response video from Goosebumps Completionist. If you haven't heard of his channel, he has like 1,100 subscribers, something like that. Quite a big Goosebumps YouTuber. And he recently made a video about what your Goosebumps Mount Rushmore is. And basically, if you haven't heard about the Mount Rushmore Memorial, it's basically 4 US presidents. I can't remember which ones are on there. Yeah. And basically, what the whole point of the Goosebumps Mount Rushmore is choosing your 4 favourite books. I'm not sure specifically if they're meant to be original series ones or not. I just went with original series ones because everything in the comments and the ones that he chose were from original series. But I might have missed him saying that they had to be original series. I'm not sure. I only chose original series though. And they probably wouldn't have changed if they didn't have to be original series because these are my favourite books. So, this is my response to you, Goosebumps Completionist. I hope you see this video and I hope you watch it. Because not many people notice me in the Goosebumps community because I'm not too small. There's other Goosebumps YouTubers that are smaller than me and get noticed more. I think it's just because I'm in the UK and Goosebumps is more of an American thing, so when someone thinks of like UK Goosebumps, they wouldn't really search that up. But yeah, so let's get into it. First, my first pick, and these are in no particular order, these just are all my favourite, these are just the 4 that I pick. First one for the Mount Rushmore pick is going to be Goosebumps original series Werewolf Skin. I only got this book. I'd never heard of it before until I started collecting the original series about a year ago probably. And wow, when I first read this, I wanted to read it again straight away because even if you read this book again, it feels like it's brand new in your brain. And the thing I love with Goosebumps books like these is their setting. So with this one especially is him going to the woods at night and stuff like that. The woods with the houses in like a secluded area. You can't really get away. Stuff like that just makes books, not even in Goosebumps in particular, but especially Goosebumps with R.L. Stein's type of writing, making it seem like you're actually there. And it makes it seem like you're watching the person. It's like watching a movie but reading a book at the same time. This book is really good. This is probably one of my favourite Goosebumps books ever. And every time I read it, it feels like I'm reading it again, the same feeling of reading a book that you love again and again. Even if you don't like this book, I'm sure you can understand the feeling of reading a book that you really love and then reading it again and getting the same feeling. That's what I get when I read this book. That's my reasoning for Werewolf Skin. The next one on my list is going to be The Scarecrow Walks at Midnight. This book isn't mentioned a whole lot. I know the book isn't amazing and the episode isn't amazing. This isn't really too much. This is a 50-50 choice. The reason the 50% of the book, 50% is probably because the book I really enjoy personally, and the episode is probably in my top 5 of episodes. The reasoning behind this is probably why I like it so much and probably why the people not a big fan of it. This is the first ever Goosebumps book I ever read. I was about, 8 years old in primary school, and they had the reprint versions of some of the Goosebumps books in the library, and I always used to pick up them, and this is the first Goosebumps book I ever read, Scarecrow Walks at Midnight, and I loved it, but I used to get terrified watching the episode. I used to watch the episode when I was about 8 or 9. I found them on Netflix, and this is one of the, they were like, they had only the first series on Netflix when I started watching them, and this was one of the only episodes that was on there, apart from a few others like Say Cheese and Die. And I remember I used to get terrified by the episode, and I used to like cover my eyes when the Scarecrow would like knock on the window and like the dream sequence. So that's just another part, probably because of the nostalgia rather than the actual story. Just thinking about my first time I've read Goosebumps, this is my introduction to it. Especially being part of the reprints, So it was quite a big part of my life that started off Goosebumps. So yeah. And yeah, that's my second pick. Also, the setting for that book is definitely one of my favourite settings as well. Cornfield, in a farmhouse, secluded, dark. It feels like you're watching a movie but reading it. That's the type of setting I like for these books. Next one, I think a lot of people like this one, and it's going to be in a lot of people's Mount Rushmore things. You might have just seen it, but this is Ghost Camp. Again, another book I'd never heard of unless I start collecting them. And it is just so good. So good, so good. I thought it would be bad when I first looked at the title, because I was like, oh, it's just going to be about ghosts in the camp, you know? That's what the title is. But it's so much better than that. Sure, it is about ghosts in camp, but it's just, there's so many layers to the story that build up to it, and it doesn't really make it obvious. Even though the title kind of gives it away, it doesn't make it obvious. That's what I really like. You think it would be a spoiler, but it's not. It's really weird, and it's just such a good read. The cliffhanger, I don't really want to spoil it too much, but the cliffhanger, the atmosphere, the twist. There's not too many twists. There's not too little though. The characters, the way they like build up the characters, and you can feel like you're building up trust with a few of them, and actually like getting to know them. And when you find out things, you're like, oh, I did not see that coming. It just, yeah, very, very good. So Ghost Camp, that's going to be my number 3. And my number 4, which is probably one of my favourite Goosebumps books of all time, that's what's on this Mount Rushmore selection of books. It's going to be, and I'm not sure if a lot of people picked this. I knew a lot of people would have picked books from the series of this. What was it, prequels or sequels? It would be sequels, wouldn't it, because they're after each other. Yeah, so this sequel of books. And it is the Night of the Living Dummy series, or the NOTLD, which people say on YouTube a lot instead of writing the whole thing. And this is Night of the Living Dummy 3. And the only thing that ruins this book for me is the cover for the UK version, but other than that, we're just focusing on the stories, really. For the Night of the Living Dummy series, even the Slappy books that I've read so far, this is far by the best one that I've read. The introduction to new characters rather than just one person. You have 3 people that are included in it, and they all take a really important role in it. Not one of them's left out, not one of them's annoying. You don't dislike any of the characters. And each character has a different personality, and they're all split apart, they're all very different, and something different happens to all of them. There's always something new that happens in this book. And I like the fact that the attic filled with dummies. So the fact that there's more dummies included in this. Not all of them may come to life, but there still are more dummies. And the whole kind of comedy side of this turning into horror side of it makes it 10 times better. You don't know when it's going to happen, you don't know when it's a prank or not, and you don't know, it's just very suspenseful. And I just love the characters and how they made them completely different from each other. Whether you see some Goosebumps book, there's either one character or 2 characters, and they're either really annoying, sometimes they can be very annoying, or they can be exactly the same, and like have no personality. But these characters like are so different from each other, and the stuff that happens in this book is really cool. The way they deal with it is very cool as well, and I like the way how they deal with it rather than just being stupid about it. The Slappy's behaviour in this is really like, he doesn't like make any mistakes or anything like that. The plot of the dummy coming to life and introducing Slappy and his different powers that he can hold is so good. This book built up towards other Goosebumps books as well, towards other Slappy books. This was like putting down a brick and building a house for Goosebumps Slappy books because of the amount of stuff you learn about him, the powers, the characters, how they deal with it, and just Slappy in general. This is definitely a book that should be remembered in Goosebumps, and that's why it's my favourite. So this is my number 4 on Mount Rushmore, probably my favourite. Definitely my favourite, actually. Probably favourite Goosebumps book ever. We'll have to see. I haven't read some of the original series yet. But yeah, Night of the Living Dummy 3, my favourite book probably of all time. It's just amazing. The plot, the characters, the development on Slappy, the different character personalities, and yeah, definitely the cover, even on the UK version. Just look at that cover with all the other dummies and Slappy sitting there. It's just, that's what Slappy is, you know. So yeah, those would be my Mount Rushmore picks for today's video. Here we are, here they all are. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, and hopefully Goosebumps Completionist replies on this. Thank you.